I've been following Randy Santel since the beginning of the year. By the way, I'm Lysander, and welcome to Lysanderland. So because I've been following Randy Santel, who is a food challenge competitor, I am going to attempt to eat 2-foot-long subs in 15 minutes. But because this is a Lysanderland challenge, we're going to throw in last night's chicken and the last piece of ice cream cake in the freezer. And we're going to top everything off with Eric's Angry Duck sauce, because this makes everything taste better. So I'm going to load the sandwiches here with the Angry Duck. Yes, I realize I'm sweaty, but that's because I ran up the stairs because I told people that I was going to be doing this at a certain time. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and wipe myself off. Okay, so I was going to do the sandwiches in 15 minutes, but because I'm adding the leftovers, I added 5. So we're going to do it in 20 minutes. And if I finish it, I don't get a sweet t-shirt. I get hugs from my kids. 3, 2, 1, boom. Ice cream cake's gonna be good.
Like a riddle, impossible lame, faking beauty to stay in the game. Bad writing, cover the walls. Guess I'm lucky if I left to fall. Sin City, waiting for me. Around the corner, I'm
50 seconds, Buff?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
How many seconds?
33, 32. No, don't. Your cheeks aren't even empty yet. You need to empty your cheeks.
Fuck me. This is fucking hard. That's hard work.
Done.
Randy Santel. Hold on, let me finish swallowing. Oh my god. I want to thank my buddy Eric for setting me up with some Angry Duck hot sauce. I'm still chewing. And I want to say, Randy Santel, I don't know how you do it, but you're an animal, a machine, and a heck of a human being. I hope you guys enjoyed my meeting with him, because I had a great time. Awesome guy. See you later.
Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yes, I'm the winner, yeah.
This man is you're still a dietitian student?
A dietetic student, yeah. I'm about to
Dietetics.
start my internship in August.
Awesome. In 2010, he won the Men's Health Spartacus Challenge, where he was flown to New Zealand to appear on the hit show Spartacus. My favorite
That's
show,
right.
my favorite show of all time, and you looked effing great, man. Great.
Hey, thank you. That was a good show.
Yeah, man. But where he gained his international fame is as a professional food challenge eater. To date, what was the number you had? I had 935.
Yeah, that was before I did my Florida tour.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
at 974 now.
974 food challenges, and you've literally racked up millions of subscribers and views on YouTube. Randy Santel, otherwise known as Atlas, welcome to Lysanderland,
That's right.
my man.
Yes. Hey, glad to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you.
I
here.
like the name. That's clever.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been around for a long time. I had the domain name. I didn't know what to do with it. So I'll start a podcast and just meet people.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like that you're up in Canada too.
Yeah.
We're going to be moving to Milwaukee soon, so I'm sure it'll be not as cold as up there, but it'll still be a lot colder than St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm from.
Okay. It didn't get too cold up here this year. Knock on wood, I didn't have to pull the snowblower out.
Global warming.
Yeah. I mean, is it really that bad? But
I don't know.
Me neither.
I'm sure some are going to be worse than others.
yeah, that's right. So, when did you realize you could eat so much and get into competitive eating?
I've always known that I could eat a lot. As a fifth grader back in grade school, I weighed 205 pounds. And that's kind of when I knew I needed to work on that. So I ended up losing a bunch of weight in fifth and sixth grade to get back down to like 165. But I gained 100 pounds while I was playing high school football back in like 2000 and I guess 3 it would have been.
Okay.
I graduated high school in 2004, but I was around 235 pounds when I was a junior. playing football, and I was kind of getting pushed around starting on varsity, and I wanted to get bigger. So I got a little bit carried away. I maxed out in high school at 346 pounds, and
Wow.
that doesn't come from eating small salads. So my first job was at Subway. I was a sandwich artist. I used to eat like 3 double meat footlongs every time I worked, which
Nice.
was just like a 5 or 6 hour shift. So now that was a lot of food. And then kind of every competitive eater, professional eater, most people get started kind of the same way, just on a dare or something like that. And for me, it was after that body transformation contest you mentioned. My buddy invited me, the one that helped me win it through fitness and nutrition and health tips, stuff like that. He had lost a 28-inch team pizza challenge in St. Louis, Missouri, where we're both from, called the Pointersaurus Pizza Challenge. You have 1 hour to finish. It's 28 inches diameter, 2 meat toppings or 4 veggies, and we ended up winning in 48 minutes. And that happened exactly 1 week after we finished up with the final photos for my transformation contest. And that was back on March 19th, 2010. So not too long ago, I celebrated my 11-year anniversary. But we ended up winning that. We got the pizza for free, would have been $50. We got a check for $500, and then everything just kind of went from there. I realized through that I was pretty good at eating. I had dessert afterwards and ate a little bit of dinner with my family. And a month later, I did an 18-inch square pizza challenge, and I was the first person out of over 120 people to win that. And I got a check for $450 through that. And then, yeah, just kept on going and been doing it ever since.
Is there money in competitive eating?
Well, there was more prizes from food challenges and eating contests back in like 2010, 2011, 2012, back when I started. And that was kind of because of the whole man versus food explosion.
Right.
There were a lot more food challenges available back then. I mean, there's not nearly as many now. A lot of the ones we do these days are more so from my team helping them get started. So, yeah, no, there's not too many. And plus, there's a lot more bigger eaters, I think, right now, and there's a lot more people willing to travel. So back in the day, there used to be restaurants with challenges for like $500, $1,000, and not really many people attempted them because there weren't as many big eaters. But there just seems to be more bigger eaters that are willing to travel. So if you announce as a restaurant that you're going to have like a $500 prize, there's probably within the next couple months going to be somebody that goes there. And then there's some really fast eaters too, which will eat it super fast. And if you don't know any better, you kind of think that there's more people like that. And then it just kind of scares people, makes them think that the challenge is going to lose money. So most restaurants these days, if there's any cash or anything like that, it's a couple $100 at most, less than 250.
Got you. Um, how tall are you? Because you look massive
I'm six
compared.
foot five.
You are okay. So you are a giant. You are a pretty big guy.
Yes. Yes,
Gotcha.
yeah, it definitely helps. There's not really any other food challengers that do food challenges like back to back to back, which most people think that's kind of crazy, and it is. But
Yeah.
it does help that I'm 6'5".
Gotcha. And your girlfriend Katina, she's quite a bit smaller than you. If I had to
She's
guess,
only 5'2". Yes,
5'2". Okay. How is she able to put away so much food?
she
Eh,
gets that question a lot more than I do. So yeah, she's done like 7 pound breakfasts, a couple of 8 pound challenges. It's pretty crazy to think about.
That's pretty cool that she can keep up with you, though, man. Pretty
And she
cool.
got started in a similar way by doing a actual bodybuilding competition.
Okay.
And then to celebrate, and she was wanting to get bigger because she had lost so much weight for the competition that she ended up doing a burger challenge. Just happened to film it, put it on a YouTube channel, and then she got started from there. So
Cool.
that's one of the things we bonded over.
That's cool. Congratulations, man. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going on 8.5 months, so it's been a good time.
Right on. Right on. So what's the most food you've ever eaten in a challenge? Out of
I've done a couple of challenges right around 9 to 9.5 pounds. It's usually, if I do a big challenge, it's usually something where the food is kind of broken up. Like it's a lot easier to eat an 8 pound burrito than it is to eat even a 7 pound burger. Just because of like the ground beef, the pulled chicken, everything's already kind of cut up and you don't have to chew as much. But like a 100-ounce steak or anything like that, there's a whole lot of chewing to it, so it's going to take longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
So
with like pizzas, I mean, you can have a 28-inch pizza, but really the question is, or even a 20-inch pizza, if you're just doing it by yourself, or a 24-inch pizza, the real question that you have to ask is not really the overall weight, it's how much crust is there. So if there's like 4 pounds of crust, that's going to be a big jaw workout. Whereas if it's a 7-pound pizza, but only 2.5 pounds of it is crust, most of that's going to be coming from the cheese and the toppings. And the juices, the water, everything from the toppings is going to soak into the crust, which is going to make it easier to eat. So it's not always about the poundage; it's about what all is part of it.
Got you. So, like I mentioned in our messaging, my kids love your stuff. I
Well,
personally,
you tell them I said thank you.
well, you're welcome, sir. I will do that. So I personally can't watch your stuff until after. I can't watch it until after supper. I do a lot of fasting throughout.
Okay.
I fast throughout the day.
Okay.
I've actually. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but I've actually tried. And when I'm watching you eat, my stomach is just grumbling. So I know there's that mind stomach connection.
Hey, that's the goal. The goal is even when the food's not very good, I try my best to make it seem like it was delicious to really promote the restaurant in a positive light. So no, when I hear that the food always looks good, or people just like you saying, "Hey, every time I watch a video, it makes me hungry," that's a very big compliment. I
I
appreciate that.
found that the best time to watch your videos is when I'm working out. I've got a home gym downstairs,
Okay.
and I put your stuff on, I work out, and then I get that appetite, and then right after I'm able to eat, and that's when I break fast at supper time, about 5
Okay.
5:30. So
Okay.
yeah, man, your videos are great. By the way, you and your production team do a great job.
Yes.
If I could, I'd like to plug your website, foodchallenges.com for you. You guys you do a great job on there too. You've got all sorts of food challenges, restaurants that are interested in putting on something like that. You've got a plethora of information on there. How did that all get started? And what was the driving? Like, what made you say this is a good idea?
We just did a giant Florida tour during February and March, and right now I'm actually on a break for about 3 weeks before I go on some more travels to Iowa and Nebraska. But back in 2012, I started my first RandySantel.com website, and during this 3 week break, I'm actually revamping it to be just bigger, better, more mobile friendly, and stuff like that. But Randy Santel started because I was getting so many questions from people about how to do food challenges and things like that. When I first started, it was a big niche for me because competitive eating was more popular and everybody wanted to be a competitive eater. They wanted to be up on the Nathan stage on 4th of July and everything like that. So I was actually one of only 2 or 3 people that specifically focused on food challenges. And even those other two, they were more concerned with eating contests when they were available. There just wasn't many available around them. So yeah, I never really cared about eating contests. I just wanted to do food challenges, which is more something that just the everyday person can want to do. Not many people can just compete in the eating contest against people that are more well seasoned and experienced. So in 2012, I had some time available. My first degree in 2008 was construction management. So that was my degree before I really got into all this. But so many people were asking me tips and advice on how to do food challenges, and I didn't have the time to just email everybody. So I wanted to just take a whole bunch of lump sum time and create kind of a website where everybody could go to, or where I could direct people to go to. And I had like 6 pages initially that just kind of had all of the different tips that I had on training your stomach capacity, strategy for during the challenges, even tips for restaurants wanting to start a food challenge and everything like that. And then I quickly realized that there was a whole lot more that I could do in the food challenges realm. Like there was a website, and there still is a website called eatbeats.com, where a lot of people go to find food challenges, but they never really get deleted off the site once they're no longer available. So I wanted to create a better database and just do a whole lot more in regards to food challenges. So my buddy helped me procure the domain foodchallenges.com. And a couple years later, I think in 2015 or maybe 2014, it launched. But yeah, foodchallenges.com's got a global database of all the food challenges around the world. There's more than 50 countries with food challenges, all 50 states, and there's over 100 articles now. I took the
Yeah.
original stuff that I had on randysantel.com and just expanded it everywhere I could. for SEO purposes and just so there were smaller articles that people could read easier. I could expand on everything, and there's over 100 articles on tips and strategy advice for people wanting to try food challenges, recover from them, anything. And pretty much anybody that started within the last 5 or 6 years, almost all of them got their start originally from reading the articles on foodchallenges.com, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Do you do all the website stuff yourself?
I didn't build the website.
Okay.
A website developer did that, but I did all of the content. Yes.
Got you. So but they don't do it anymore for you. You do all the updating and all the back end stuff. You're able to
Yes.
do
Yeah,
that
I do
yourself.
all the updates.
Got you.
I haven't done any blog posts or anything for it. I wish I had more time to do that. There's a whole lot more still that I want to do with foodchallenges.com. There's only so much you can do in a day. And I'm revamping randysantel.com, and I'm really excited about that because foodchallenges.com's got a giant database of all the food challenges for everybody all around the world. randysantel.com is going to have, it's through this new map application that I was able to come in contact with, where there's going to be a whole giant map of the whole world. And everywhere I've done a food challenge, which is 974 now, there's going to be a dot. It's going to help organize the YouTube channel. So many people ask, hey, Randy, have you been to Canada? I can just direct them to my map where they can pull it up and see all of the different places in Canada I've been to. And then through those links, there's going to be a link to the YouTube video. So it's going to be really cool because if you watch videos now, it's really hard to find the ones that I did back in 2011 or 2012 if you're not really searching for it. But
Yeah.
through the map, all of them are going to be in one spot. So it's going to be really cool.
That's awesome. Are there any challenges along the way that have defeated the Mighty Atlas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am. Let's see. I think I'm 46.
Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say are there. I knew there were, but how many have there been?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, during our Florida tour, I think I was 54 or 55 and 3. There were 3 challenges I lost, and then I did actually one in Turks and Caicos earlier this year. We were on vacation, Katina and I, for Christmas and to celebrate the good 2020. And then I won one in Post Falls, Idaho, which is near where Katina lives in Spokane. But yeah, I think I've won like 56 or 57 this year and then lost 3. I lost 6 in 2020, and then I lost 12 in 2019, and then I lost some before then. There's quite a few that I still, eventually once I have to start an internship to become a dietitian,
yep.
Which is part of everything that I'm going to be doing for my after professional eating career. I'll be a social media dietitian, but that'll start in August later this year. I'm going to be moving with Katina to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'm going to be starting a giant diet definitely once the internship starts, because I won't really be able to move around and go anywhere. Won't be able to tour. So I'm going to get down to about 250 pounds. Once I'm down to where I really want to be, where I'm nice and thin, very fit, I'm going to do what I'm going to be calling an ego tour, where I just tour around to all the various challenges that I've lost in the past, and I just go dominate them. Because the bigger you are, the more fat you have around your abdominals, your midsection.
Yep.
That fat all restricts your organs from being able to move around and expand. So even when I'm just doing like a 2-month tour of food challenge every day, my capacity is a lot higher at the beginning of the trip than later on towards the end once I'm a lot fatter. So once I get rid of all the fat around here, I'll be able to train better. I'll be able to eat a lot more, and I'll be able to hopefully do a couple 10-pound challenges. So that'll be fun.
I'm actually in the same spot myself. So that once you're doing that, will that be will that be longer than your average 12-week sexifications?
Yes, yeah, it will. Yeah, I'll probably do like a 12-week one, but we don't have enough videos for me to just take too much time off. So I'll have to get back to doing food challenges, but really I'll only be able to do food challenges on the weekends. And only doing 1 or 2 challenges a week while working out 7 days a week, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty easy to still lose weight just by eating lightly. And as a dietetic intern, I'll be moving around a lot more than I am now, just sitting on my computer a lot, pretty sedentary when I'm not actually exercising specifically with intent to exercise. So that'll help too, and it'll all be good. I'll still be able to lose weight while doing a challenge or 2 a week.
Are you able to be satiated by normal portions?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roughest time is like the week after a big tour. Like in Florida, I did like 60 food challenges or whatever it is. And The week after I got done, it was pretty rough because my stomach was well expanded. I was hungry pretty much no matter what I ate. But eventually, the stomach compacts down or contracts down to what it should be. And I know based on my activity level for the day what is enough food, what's not enough food, and what's just right. So, with just having 3 weeks available to diet and exercise, I'm eating lighter than maybe I should. But to combat all that weight gain, you gotta switch back to the other way. So it'll be all good.
Are you like when you're doing that? Are you like a fasting and then keto guy? Are you doing, or is it just a lot of you're
No,
filling up with a lot of healthy vegetables?
oh yeah, yeah. I ride my bike. I cycle and spend
Stacy,
like 8 to 10 hours a week. Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Stacy is in Springfield, and then Katina and I have Sammy. But it would be very hard to do the bike rides that I do without many carbs. And plus, I like the fiber. So yeah, I have a lot of vegetables and things like that. But then also too, I have plenty of carbs, oatmeal, stuff like that.
oh, okay, so you
So
not
it's more about just calories in, calories out for me. I don't really do too much fasting. I have a couple meals a day. Kind of depends on what my exercise is.
got you. Okay. Are there any food challenges that you wouldn't do? You've been to, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've been throughout lots Europe, India, Australia. Would you go to places
Yep.
like Asia where their delicacies are a little bit different? Like I'm half Filipino, so if
Oh yeah, you guys got some crazy stuff.
yeah, man. So if you
I've
and
been to
I
the Philippines. I'm not exactly a Dina Guan fan, but I would eat it again.
didn't go on, got you.
Yes.
So, but
Yeah.
but
But in Singapore, I had a pig organ soup, and it was delicious. I think it was just the knowing that I was eating blood soup was kind of off-putting. And I don't know how you guys eat durian either.
e- oh
Durian to
yeah,
me
the
is kind of
stinky.
gross.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm Polish Ukrainian and I'm half Filipino. So
Okay.
I grew up with a lot of with a big mix of everything. Like I've never had balut, which is a
Oh,
half.
actually, that was the next thing I was going to say. I did actually enjoy that.
You enjoyed balut, really?
I did. Yes. Yeah, I would definitely eat it again. We got one as a joke from my sister, knowing that she wasn't going to eat it, but I ended up eating hers too. It's as long as you don't think about what it is, it's not
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
I just posted a video for a Mexican taco challenge where it was intestines, stomach,
I just watched
tongue.
that last night. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but it was kind of easier with that one because all of the 12 different tacos looked the same. So I didn't exactly know what I was doing, but or what I was eating each time. I mean, you can kind of tell from the texture.
Yeah.
Like there was one that was more crackly, so I knew I was eating intestines and stuff like that. But I mean, it was still good. I like black pudding. I like haggis from Scotland, which is in the sheep intestine.
Yep.
I've done an eating contest with Rocky Mountain oysters. I mean, if it's fried, it's pretty good.
Do you do you ever how do you feel after a challenge? You get the food coma? Are you you go right back to the hotel room and like, I gotta sleep? Are you one of those
While we're on
guys
the
or
subject, what are your thoughts on lumpia?
what's that?
What are your thoughts on lumpia?
On lumpia?
The little
Oh, the
lumpia, the
lumpia,
little
yeah, the little
Filipino.
little Filipino egg rolls. Love
Yes.
them. My mom used to make them all the time. That was a holiday thing for us.
Yeah, I did a food truck challenge near Charleston, South Carolina with those, and they were amazing. But yeah, no. To answer your question, it kind of depends on the challenge. So, I mean, I do some 5 pound challenges. I do some 8 pound challenges. You don't really do want to do too many massive ones back to back. I mean, it's kind of like weight training. I mean, you don't want to max out every day for a week if you're trying to increase your bench. So, I mean, I might do a 7 or 8 pound challenge, but then the next day I'll do a 5 pound challenge
You,
just to give my stomach a little bit of a break.
you throw out a lot of weight. Is it weight based or is it more um like would you be under the table if you ate more pizza that was the same weight as a steak? Does that make any sense?
Well, that's kind of what my team bases stuff off. We help a lot of restaurants create food challenges. That's kind of where the market is.
Okay.
Because actually, believe it or not, a lot of the restaurants that have food challenges, they kind of just set them and forget them. They don't really care about them. Like I do, like most of the food challenges where we go to help promote them and stuff where they're already existing. most of those restaurants don't really care at all. They could care less whether I'm there or not. So it's kind of me just filming videos for content and for the people around those areas. But if I had never gone there in the first place, the restaurant wouldn't really have cared or appreciated it. But with new restaurants, I have a team that kind of helps contact restaurants that might be interested in setting them up. Those are the ones that we really enjoy because those are the ones that actually really care about their challenge in their restaurant. They're out there trying to get media attention, really promote, get a lot of people to the event. So we do those, and my team pretty much just uses just weights to kind of help them create the challenge themselves for the menu. Like, make something that's 7 pounds. Make something if it's like a sweeter challenge with a whole lot of sugar and stuff, 5 or 6 pounds. Kind of what based on what people around the area might have a chance to do, but will still make a good video for me to attempt as a food challenge.
Got you. I also watched your highest video that's got over 8 million views is the one of the restaurants where you would never go to. And this is what I love about your personality, and one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you. You're just a big, friendly guy. You even said in the video, I don't hate anybody, but I would never go back to this place.
Now, and all three of those were challenges that were already existing, and the restaurant tried to screw me over. So
Yeah,
that having the cops called on me was great because that video has done really well on both YouTube and Facebook, and
that's
I
actually.
always get
Go ahead.
people always tell me about how Lulu's is still closed, which it says because of COVID, but I don't think they're going to be opening again. But it really doesn't have much to do with me. If you look at their reviews, they have so many terrible reviews on their service. It's crazy. It's definitely a management problem, which is what I said in the video. And the sad thing is none of that stuff in that video is made up or embellished. It was all true.
Where was that restaurant again? What?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio. So, and that was actually why I wanted to ask how tall you were, because there's a picture of you where the cops are standing in front of you, and I'm like, did they just
with my arms crossed, looking like a badass?
Well, that or do they hire little people? Is there a height requirement?
I think I was standing on the curb. I don't really remember that, but I think there was it was about the angle that the photo was taken is what made that look so good.
That's awesome, man. Are you still training the same way for every competition? I watched one where you get the Subway sandwiches, and then you're eating the Subway sandwiches, or you had like, I think it was 2 or 4, and then you'd eat 2 at a time. Are you still doing that? Or
yeah, that's pretty much what I do before the first challenge of a trip. So there's no training during tours. Every food challenge that I do kind of keeps my body ready for the next one.
Yeah.
So you just really have to train for the first one. So because there's no big meals before that. And that video you watched, it was right after Sexification 2020, where I lost like 70 pounds or whatever it was during 12 weeks. So that was from eating a lot of smaller meals and things like that. So I needed to get my body ready to eat more again. And so, yeah, I tried to see how fast I could eat 4 foot longs from Subway while drinking a gallon of water. And then a day or two later, I tried to do it again just a lot faster. And if I can do 4 foot longs, load it with vegetables plus a gallon of water, all in under like 15, 20 minutes, I know my body's okay. And so that's before the first food challenge. And then once I do a food challenge, that just kind of has me ready for the next day where I'll be doing another challenge. So it's really not about training. It's about emptying out.
Got
so
you.
There's no TMI needed, but it's just all about drinking a lot of water, getting whatever exercise I can, I try to leave at least 20 hours in between food challenges, just to give my body enough time to process. Yeah. One of the reasons I gain weight is I actually do keep the food down. So a lot of weight gain comes with that, but I won't need to eat using a feeding tube when I'm older. So I do look forward to that.
There any mental challenges that you have to overcome before or during a challenge? Like, are you
You
Sometimes my body feels better than others, but no, the real mental ones. I mean, it's definitely mental when there's only a few minutes left and you got a few bites to finish. I mean, when you're loaded to the max, almost to the point where you're about to bust and get sick. But the real mental challenges are the ones that I don't really do. I think you asked this earlier. Are there any foods you won't eat?
yeah
I don't really want to eat anything living, but also too, there's not really any restaurant challenges with stuff that's like with bugs and all that. Most restaurants do what I just call safe foods.
yeah
They don't really get too crazy with everything. And plus, if you go with seafood and other like expensive foods, it gets too expensive to the point where nobody wants to risk losing that much money if they're not able to complete the challenge and they have to pay for the meal that they really didn't take time to enjoy. But spicy food challenges, I don't really enjoy those. I've never had a Carolina Reaper pepper, and I don't need to find out. I just trust from the other
yeah
people that I've watched their reactions. I already know it's going to be bad. Back in 2012, I did a wing challenge with Trinidad Maruga scorpion pepper wings, and those aren't as hot as Carolina Reaper, but it took me 2.5 minutes to eat the wings. It took me 2.5 hours to be able to walk out of the bathroom and actually talk and not have rashes on my face. So
wow
that was miserable. And since then, I haven't really done that many spicy challenges. I'll do ghost peppers. My body can handle those, but anything hotter than that is not anything I want to do. I prefer quantity over spice.
got you got you do you when you come back from the tours do you get checked out by a doctor to make sure everything's okay or
I check myself after the longer breaks that I have. I mean, there's no real reason to get your blood levels tested after a 2 month tour of binge eating. I mean, what do you think my blood levels look
right
like? I'm sure they're probably not good.
yeah
So I mean, after I get enough time to like break and rest and get my A1C back in check and my blood glucose levels and all that through exercise, then yeah, I get my blood levels and everything tested then.
any digestion troubles after a challenge
No, I do take digestive enzymes before the challenges. I usually take like a double dose just on the bigger ones. I try not to take them every day because I don't want my body getting used to that. But when I do, if I do have like a challenge, it's just really hard for my body to process without a lot of fiber. I've got a fiber supplement that I take as well. And then I take the Walmart Equate version of Metamucil every night just for soluble fiber to help with cholesterol and things like that.
that's a good idea. I'm going to start doing that. You do that every night? Is that like a before bed thing or after supper
Yeah,
thing or
it's usually a before bedtime thing, and then it's kind of my own thing. People have their own opinions on it, but every morning I usually do an ounce of apple cider vinegar with mother.
okay.
Whenever I'm not on tours and I can have it next to her in her refrigerator. But that's kind of like my wake up thing with a big old thing of water mixed in, and then I'll do the Metamucil at night.
So I'd imagine there are
It's kind of
people.
like my pre bedtime and waking up kind of routine.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like, I guess there are people. I suppose there would be people that would be like concerned for what you're doing. They might think
Oh, there's a
they.
lot of those.
Yeah, I bet there is. So it's nice to know that you really do take care of yourself, right? It's not like you're going out, you're binge eating like crazy and doing it for the
Yeah.
views, and then not giving a shit about anything else
Oh yeah,
after.
yeah. People always talk about, oh, it's going after that YouTube money. I always laugh about it.
Well, you know, in your videos, you've made reference to the fact that you're studying to be a dietitian. So it tells me you're not an idiot. You know what you're doing, right? And
Well,
then
one
with
of my
all,
goals is to be like the number one social media dietitian in the world.
I
And
think you're
in order to do that, I can't have a long history of health problems.
yeah.
So, I mean, while this is not exactly 100% healthy, I'm trying to do the best I can to make sure my body can go through it as well.
You're minimizing the risk,
Correct.
and you're doing a great job of it too, man. Like,
Yes, 11 years, absolutely no adverse health impact other than weight gain. Which, I mean, when my weight's higher, we get more negative comments. People genuinely concerned,
yeah.
but it's all good. It all works out.
I mean,
It'll
you're
all work out in the end too.
you're a really nice guy. You're polite in our DMs. Just a one of those people you really want to meet in real life. As a YouTuber, how are you reacting to that negativity and those trolls?
I mean, for me, it's really easy. I mean, I've been doing this 11 years, and I kind of know what the ending outcome's going to be. I mean, I win in the end.
Yeah.
That's why we use the slogan "Win before you begin." But actually, this ring that I wear, people ask about it a lot. It actually says "Boom" on it. Boom is an acronym. It's what I say before every food challenge.
Three, two,
But
one, boom.
the B and 1, 2, 3, boom.
1, 2, 3,
But
boom.
yes,
Sorry.
the B stands for benevolence, and which is basically to be kind. So I always try to be kind to everybody. A lot of the people that are rude and mean, they did it without even realizing it. They're
Oh,
just not very good with their words. And so, I mean, sometimes when I'm kind or whatever, and I'll respond nicely to somebody that was saying something very critical and rude, they'll come back with, "Oh, big fan, didn't mean any disrespect or anything like that," which I always laugh at because they probably were venting, not thinking that I was going to see the comment.
yeah.
But no, there's no real benefit out of being rude to people, because usually, and it's not really about the people at all that actually wrote the comment. It's about all the people that are going to see my comment responding to that person.
Mm.
There's a lot more positive gain that comes from being positive back than to be snarky and rude to somebody.
Yeah, your videos are very positive. One of the things what,
Especially with Facebook, because Facebook kind of prioritizes comments. Like I'll do a post and then somebody will respond with something real rude. Like one guy just put "F you, Randy," and then I responded with like, "Wow, sorry that today's not going well for you. I hope today goes better for you than tomorrow." And I'll look back like an hour later and there'll be like 300 comments, all like praising me for my response back and then criticizing the original person and stuff like that. So it gets more interaction too.
you're just beating them over the head with the club of kindness.
And if I'm mean, that's when people respond to that of, "Oh, Randy's got all these subscribers now. He's getting big headed." So there's nothing gained.
No, no.
Can't think of the short term. Can't think of the short term. You always got to think of the long term.
What have you learned in your years of doing all these food challenges? What's going to be your takeaway when you leave?
Whew, that's a good question.
Like,
Um, I mean, I think the biggest fear I have is that I know that I won't be able to be a professional eater while doing all my work as a dietitian
yeah.
and social media nutritionist, everything like that. So my big thing is I just don't want to have anything left in the basement. I just
Yeah.
want to. I want when I'm done, I want to be done without any regrets. I want to go everywhere, do every food challenge I've ever wanted to do. And so these next couple of years, while I'm still doing the food challenges, is going to be mostly about making sure that I'm going to be okay when I retire without any regrets.
Good for you, man. Good for
I want
you.
to get to 50 countries. I'm only at 37 now. I want to do a giant tour of Canada. I mean, there's only so much time left, so I'm going to have to maximize it as far as, and not my life, just my time as a professional eater. So I'll basically go from traveling for food challenges to traveling as a public speaker, and everything I'll be doing as a dietitian. When I become a dietitian, which will probably be 2023, I'll become the number one followed dietitian in the world. And so there's going to be a lot of responsibility that comes with that,
Yeah.
along with all kinds of opportunities. So I'm kind of just trying to make sure I'm all prepared. My team is ready for when that time comes.
So you've got everything mapped out and planned out, my man. That's awesome.
Not everything, but I've got the generalities. Yes.
That is perfect, actually. I mean,
Begin with the end in mind.
that's a good way of looking at everything. Are you at the point now with your YouTube where restaurants are reaching out to you, or is your team reaching out to the restaurants and asking?
Kind of both.
Kind of
Kind of
both.
both. Initially, we start by contacting our restaurants, but then while I'm on tour, we usually have restaurants that find out about me in the area, or one of our subscribers tells an owner about it, and then we get reached out to. So it's kind of a mix of both.
That's
Or else we'll have a restaurant reach out to us, say in Texas or Virginia or anywhere else, and then we'll start planning a trip to that area. And then we'll start contacting restaurants around them. And then also, once we start actually posting that we're coming there, we'll have restaurants or people that follow us that are involved with restaurants reach out. So, yeah, it's definitely a mix.
That's awesome. Randy, before we go, for excuse me, sorry.
It's going to be
For
a thought-provoking question.
no, not at all, not at all. No,
Oh,
not
okay,
at
well,
all.
cool.
No, I told you I wouldn't do that to you,
Oh
man.
no, I enjoy those too. I just got
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta
No,
think on my toes.
no, all good, all good. We love you over here, man. Before we go, for people that don't know you, and dude, where can they find you?
Oh yeah, okay, that's not thought provoking. No, everything is well. First of all, if you care about food challenges and
Yeah.
don't even really care about what I'm doing, I mean, I guess you have to just because I built it all. But anything that you want to know about food challenges, foodchallenges.com. It's the pretty much one-stop shop. You can find food challenges around you. You can find out how to train, strategize, and dominate anything you want to know. But then, if you just want to watch our videos, Randy Santel. And then here soon, in the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to go to randysantel.com as a one-stop shop for everything you want to know. It'll have our upcoming schedule. It'll have everything, everywhere I've been, all the links you could want to know, big frequently asked questions page. But yeah, if you just want to watch the videos, you can check them out on YouTube and Facebook. We post new ones every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sometimes on Facebook, when I'm on tours, I'll do live streams of the food challenges. Those are just on Facebook. But yeah, everything's Randy Santel. We've got Instagram. I do Snapchat. I don't often. Same with Twitter. But yeah, everything's Randy Santel. As far as I know, there's only one.
Do you still is one of your other YouTube pages? Is that Randy Santel Talks?
Randy Santel Talks. Yeah, I haven't done anything with that in forever. Yeah, that's what I used to use. But I mean, I don't want to put all the work into creating another channel. I mean, I'll have to start another YouTube channel in the future based on the name of the future company that I'll have.
Yeah.
But there won't. I don't think there's going to be another Randy Santel channel. And if there is, and if we want to do Randy Santel Talks or something like that, I'm going to have a bigger team around me that can pretty much do it all for me. It won't really be anything that I sink a ton of time into.
The reason why I asked about that one, and this is before we go, I wanted to actually thank you. There's you, dude. Like I've told you before, earlier, you're a plethora of knowledge. That one in particular, please keep up. I think it would help a ton of people. Just because in one of the videos you talk about not looking at the scale, which so many people do, and there are other ways that you can see how your transformation is going. Right, like with the T-shirt.
Yeah, that's like from 2014 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, relevant information to today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
yeah, I
fantastic.
mean, weight loss is a big mental thing.
Yeah.
So you always gotta. I mean, the big thing is it's something's got to be measurable, but it doesn't have to be the weight on the scale. There's other ways of measuring and knowing that you're well on your way to success. So,
and
how your shirts fit, how you're feeling. There's a whole bunch of other things.
And you're 100% right on all of that, because I completely relate to all of it. With regards to success, we wish you all the success, Mr. Santel.
I appreciate that. We're pointed towards it. We just got to execute from here on out, and excited to move up to Milwaukee in July to start an internship in August. That'll be a 1,200-hour internship, and then after I'm done with that, I'll probably do a couple last few tours. I'll do that ego tour and everything like that. And then my first book will come out as part of the company that I'll be starting after I'm a dietitian. And yeah, no, lots more upcoming. I'm excited.
Awesome. Sir, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for your time, and thanks everybody listening. I appreciate you supporting this podcast and everything he's doing.
They'll be able to hear you on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. When you come up to Manitoba, please look me up. I'd love to train for a challenge. Give me a couple of weeks notice so I can shove some
that would be fun.
Subway sandwiches into my mouth. And
Win before you begin.
Win
But yeah,
before I
tell the
begin.
kids I said thank you, and just thanks in general to your whole family and everybody watching the videos. I
Okay, good.
appreciate that.